But NPC, yeah, man. I never grabbed one. Everybody was doing them, and I was like, man, I always wanted one, but they were like so expensive at the time. I was looking at them.
Yeah, but that's how you could tell, like, the period I grew up in, it was touching stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We had equipment. So it's like now with everything digital, you don't get the same experience. Because like I had to actually go into the record store, get vinyl, take the vinyl home, and then I had to sit and play through it to find, a perfect spot to sample. Then I sample that, put it in the recorder, you know what I'm saying? So it was like a whole process. And now it's like everything's so fast, you don't record the same way with the same type of passion or the same type of creativity. Because it's like, that's why it's like I'm always searching for a storyline, because back in the day, I always had a storyline, you know what I'm saying? It was like working at McDonald's, you save up some money, and I have a budget on when I'm fit to get in records. I'll be like, I got $20. I'm fit to go through the old records. All the old records be like $2, $3.
Yeah, right.
So I'm just fit to look at the covers. I might get some rap, but I'll get mostly stuff I don't even know what it is.
You don't even know. Yeah, that's where it is. That's like my favorite thing.
And then go home and then listen to it all. So it's like you don't have that process no more of really creating. It's like I'm finna go on this site, pull up this, finna pull up that, and it's like boom, boom, boom. But it ain't no. That's why it's like I gotta look at anime, I gotta play video games, I gotta watch movies, I gotta do all this stuff, absorb first, and then that's when I hear like a little bit of sound from here or a storyline from this movie. Now I want to create a track.
Yeah, that's it. Yep, that's how I mean. I can still want to bring that kind of record thing back though, because looking at them covers and like just listen through some of them sounds is crazy though. Like that's my favorite thing to do. You know what I mean? I'll be trying to find like some like classics or some old records and just skim through them joints and like listen to them too.
Yeah, because that's what I always would get, like old stuff, like Kool and the Gang, anything like funk, soul. And then I would get like jazz stuff. And then I would just like turn on the jazz and just sit and just sample random stuff, random riffs, horn blows and piano riffs and just save them.
Yeah, see that's, man, I want to start doing that again too. Grabbing a bunch of different sounds and just like, I used to do a bunch of different sounds, but I was grabbing more of like actual melodies, just like the beginning. It can be like the beginning of a melody or something, and then I'll like make it into a melody. Like I'll take the pitch all the way down or something, or put it in a key, and then shorten it, and then use it into different keys or something like that. I used to do like, or you can like reverse it.
Yeah.
And I used to come up with sounds like that. And then that was my favorite thing to do. My cousin and just find different sounds. But we used to use a program called Cool Edit, and I guess he used to think like crazy. And I finally asked him, I was like, what do you use to chop your sample? He's like, yo, Cool Edit. He's like, I got a copy you can download. And I ended up having it to be able to start chopping. But he used to send me like things on CDs of little chops of whatever he finds. So like it could be movies, it can be from a show, commercial, small snippet of something, and make me make something out of it. And that thing was crazy, man. And that was like my training. I was more of he was more into like sampling. I was like real good at sampling at the time, because I was like, man, I could turn a sample into a sample. We used to always just do that, and he was like, oh, can you do this one, do this one? I mean, we had times where it's like, man, I can't do nothing with it. Like, it's just like there's times he would try to push me to do it, and that was the thing. Like, oh, could you chop this sample? This is crazy, and I'm thinking like, oh, this ain't the one. Like, I can't. Like, because like you only can do so much with so much. And then I'm like, oh man, just turn it backwards and do this. And I'm like, it is gonna sound good like that. And then I'm trying to tell him, and he's like pushing me. I was like, man, boy, we could chop something else, and then like I'll come up with like something from scratch. But at the time, man, I used to be so mad about those times, man. I'm like, man, I can't today.
Yeah, I need to go back into like a process of going to like discovering music.
Yeah.
Ain't no way to like discover anything. Because they just throwing stuff in your face and just saying, hey, this a hit, this the new artist. And nobody's doing any, I guess, research, history of music.
No. But yeah, I'm trying to come up with something crazy too. Now that like speaking of that, it makes me want to go back and like look through some of those projects too. And that was another thing I never thought of doing, is going back through those projects and seeing, what was made, and it can probably be something. There was one, I was like, dang. There was one crazy one that was like my favorite. I think it was called like Blue Friendly.
Yeah, I ain't know nothing about FL until like years later. Cause like that's when I got out of like producing. Was around the time, like when Pro Tools came out. I was more into the business side of things. And I had stopped producing for years.
Okay, so you stopped producing when as soon as like Pro Tools came out. Dang, what was that? Oh, dang.
Yeah, because I learned how to use Pro Tools because I started learning how to like record myself from like the booth. Just hit record, go in the booth and start recording. And I started learning the basis of it. And then that's when I got out of it. Because that's what I was doing, was like I would always go to the studio and then help engineer and produce. And then I got more into the business of it. And I didn't have time to even go to the studio no more. It was more, events and other stuff I had to go to.
So you was off and on. So first you was like started off making beats, and then you went to like straight to the business side.
Yeah. Cause dang.
But that's pretty good, because it's like you went from, so you the other side, management and things like that.
Yeah, because I was still like in studios, but it was more like A&R. But because I had did all those things, it was easier for me to be an A&R, because I can go into the studio, tell them what to chop, what to double, what to do. So it was like it went from producing to executive producing, putting stuff together, coming up with ideas still. So it was like being out of the actual seat of making the beat to kind of just sitting back and directing.
So you get to learn the structure of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because that helps out the dynamic in the room a lot better. It's like I think the artists now, they don't realize that you do need like a group of people, but it's like people that mesh together well. And if they have these certain dynamics, it makes the whole experience so much better. Because it's like if you got a dope producer, you got a dope artist, you got somebody in the room that knows the business, you got somebody that knows how to direct and put it together and do the A&R part, that knows what's a hit, how to put stuff into certain situations. When they're all in the room together, that's a good thing, versus when you're just randomly just doing stuff and you're just making music and you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And you may think it's trash because you just sitting in there listening to it over and over, versus somebody else that's seasoned that say, nope, keep that. That's going to go over to this file.
Okay.
So it's like you need that as a music creator.
Yeah.
Because it's like a lot of times we get tunnel vision just as being a producer. You just sitting there in the studio, you making beats, and you get brain block, and then you don't know what to make, or it's other stuff. You constantly thinking of hits versus just thinking of just making music, period.
Yeah.
So it's like you need that other person to kind of just say, hey, don't just throw that away, keep that, because that's still valuable, that can be used for this. And then, like I said, somebody that can kind of direct the music. It's like, hey, why don't you put a bridge here? Why don't you put an interlude here? Why don't you do this, to kind of spice it up or kind of build upon it, versus the
Just throwing
routine
it
of what
away.
you.
Like, yeah, I get what you're saying. Instead of like, you know what I mean. So old, like same thing with like old stuff too. You know what I mean? Like the things you throw away or just letting it sit around, you can kind of use them for other projects, or you can flip them a different way to fit different projects and things like that. And then like say if you say if you did actually go on and made some content, right? And you go on and how would you be able to like work with film producers and things like that to actually try to, how do you go about like networking with them? You know what I mean? If you had like content to do.
If I got content that's out,
Yeah.
that I can pretty much showcase and use as my calling card or my networking card, you just keep networking till you find the right people that got the right energy with you and what you want to do. Because you're always going to find people that listens to the type of music you create. So those are the type of other creators you want to be around: writers, film producers. And that's how you got to network. It's like you can be on LinkedIn. If you make a certain type of music, you go to certain type of events, you have a certain lifestyle, you look for other people, you network with them, and they might be in a totally different business than you. So this is how you get to networking. You got to be able to do a little research in what you do.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Study your own lifestyle.